Hi, my name is Emily Danchuk. I am an intellectual property attorney and the founder of Copyright Collaborative. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about negotiating licensing deals and understanding licensing agreements. So first I'm going to start with some general contract concepts. Concept one is that entering into a licensing agreement with someone is akin to getting married. You know those marriages where the bride and groom fight like cats and dogs about the wedding? When I picture this, the first thought that comes to mind is, I can't imagine how they're going to survive life together if they can't even agree on a cake. So moving that concept into contract law, many artists who come to me have a shaky relationship with their potential licensee, where the parties, even before the agreement is signed, can't seem to meet eye to eye. And I think that the prevalent thought is, once the contract is signed, the hardest part is over and we'll get along just fine. This is a mistake. Once you sign an agreement, you're wed to your licensee. The contract execution is just the tip of the iceberg. It's the frosting on the wedding cake. So make sure you like your licensee and that you're both working in a collaborative effort and that you both love German chocolate cake. The second concept is a simple idea. If the potential licensee seems shady, dismissive, or disrespectful, he probably is. Again, make sure that you like the licensee and make sure that you're being respected and treated like a human being. And remember that actions speak much louder than words. Concept 3, the old bait and switch. There are many instances where a licensee says that they will do something or agree to something, but the contract says something completely different. An example of this is where you're licensing artwork to a company and they want you to modify the artwork a bit. The agreement says that they have complete discretion and approval of the final artwork to be used. You express concern and say to the licensee, well, I don't want to spend too much time reworking the design. They tell you it's no big deal and then they'll probably accept the design or artwork as is. They say don't worry about it. I'm telling you to worry about it. You could spend 40 hours reworking the design into something totally different, and you won't get paid for that time. Go by the contract. Those are the terms that will control the relationship. If you're not comfortable with the terms as is without verbal promises, don't ask for assurances. These assurances won't matter when the agreement says something totally different. Remember, with most licensees, it's not their first time at the rodeo, so they know what they're doing and exactly what their agreement says. Concept 4. Branding should be your first consideration. If you're licensing to Target or Walmart, I can absolutely guarantee that you will not be licensing the same or similar works to Bergdorf's or Macy's. The important physics lesson here is what goes up must come down, but what goes down stays down. Always consider the direction you want your brand to go in, and hold out for more if that's what you want. Don't sell out to Walmart in a panic if what you really want is Saks. This is where the rubber hits the road, and you must, albeit with a realistic viewpoint, have faith in yourself and your product. Concept 5. If you don't understand it, don't sign it. My experience has taught me that it is not brain surgery to write an understandable contract. Therefore, my goal with contracts is to make them understandable by 5th graders. If you don't understand the contract language, then you don't understand the terms. And if you don't understand the terms, then you don't understand what you're getting yourself into. While attorneys can be expensive, it shouldn't be hard to find one who charges reasonable rates to review an agreement, explain any confusing terms, and make sure that you're protected. However, before you spend money for an attorney to review and negotiate an agreement, approach the potential licensee and ask if the terms are set in stone, or if they're negotiable. If you fail to do this, you'll be stuck with a revised, useless agreement and an attorney bill. By the way, that's a picture of me. Concept 6. Understand what you're getting into. This is related to Concept 5, but goes even further in that you want to understand your obligations under the agreement. I have some clients who come to me with agreements that they're supposedly ready to sign, with provisions that require the client to maintain several $1,000,000 of liability insurance in the name of the licensee. Once I talk to the client about that clause, they inform me that they don't have liability insurance. So my question becomes, why are you signing this agreement that requires you to add the licensee as an insured on a non-existent insurance policy? My advice is to make a bullet list of all of your obligations under the agreement so you know what they are. Now I'd like to talk a bit about some important contractual terms that you'll most likely find in any license agreement that crosses your desk. First, the grant of license. What rights are you granting? Are they revocable or irrevocable? That is, can you get them back? Or does the licensee have them forever? For example, I have a client who came to me with an agreement that stated that the terms of the agreement were 3 years. It was a 3-year term. Further on in the agreement, it states that the licensee had the right to use and exploit the work until the copyright expired. Well, that's not a 3-year term agreement. That's an irrevocable agreement, because by the time that copyright expires, the licensor is going to probably be dead. Are the rights worldwide or only for a certain geographical territory? Is the license exclusive or non-exclusive? In other words, is the licensee the only one who can use and exploit the work? Second, term. What is the term of the agreement, or how long is the agreement to last? What happens to the grant of rights once the agreement is terminated? Does the licensee have the right to continue using the work and selling the product, as I just described? Does the agreement automatically renew? On whose authority? Is it mutual agreement or one-sided agreement on the part of the licensee? Third, what are your obligations under the agreement besides granting a license and collecting money? Are you required to further develop the work? Is there going to be creation of derivative works or new works? Will you have to train the licensee or its employees on how to implement the work? And are there any payments for this work above and beyond the license fee? Fourth, intellectual property rights. This is a set of statements as to your ownership of the work and the licensee's acknowledgement of those rights. The term sets the boundaries of the licensee's use of the work for a set amount of time. Are you required to register your works with the Copyright Office? If there is an infringement of the works by a third party, who is able or obligated to bring suit? Is the licensee obligated to cooperate with you if you bring suit for infringement? Fifth, what are the effects of termination? When is the license terminable before the license is up, i.e. breach of agreement, dissolution or bankruptcy of the licensee, etc.? Is the licensee required to destroy any remaining inventory, or do they have to sell it off within a certain amount of time? Does the licensee have any future or residual rights to use the work? Sixth, what additional license terms are there in the agreement? Indemnification of licensor. You want to be indemnified if the product they're using your work on is defective. Is payment to you based on a royalty rate or a flat fee? Is there an advance on royalties that you're going to get upon signing the agreement? Accounting for royalties. What does the licensee have to provide you with? Books of accounting, royalty payment details, statements of sales, etc. when they provide you with quarterly royalty fees. Trademark usage. You really want to make sure that you're able to control and supervise the licensee's use of your trademarks, or you may run the risk of losing your trademark rights. Quality control. Samples provided to you for quality control. Do you have approval rights to make sure that your work isn't being put on a crappy product? So those are some terms to consider when you're signing a license agreement, and most agreements should have those terms in there. So those are some questions that you should ask yourself when you're signing an agreement. So now I'm going to move on to what I call the contract not to sign and why. Here are a couple of quotes from agreements that I've seen, and we're going to go over why they're problematic. Number 1, licensor hereby grants to licensee the exclusive, irrevocable, worldwide right to reproduce the licensed material and to publish, display, distribute, and otherwise use the licensed material in any way whatsoever. So with this clause, you're giving away complete control of the usage of the work to the licensee where you can't use it because it's an exclusive license, and they can use your work however and on whatever products they want without any input from you. 2, this license is fully transferable and sublicensable to licensees, affiliates, and manufacturers. So if you don't know who the licensee's affiliates are, you may have your work go downstream quickly and you've lost control of your branding. Also, if the license is transferable to licensees' manufacturers, you may have your work unintentionally licensed in China. 3, licensee shall continue to have the rights specified in this agreement after cancellation or termination thereof. So this clause obliterates the point of termination. They have the rights under this clause to use your work after the license terminates. The whole point of having a license agreement is to grant temporary rights and then to get them back upon termination. Next one, licensee shall have the option to require licensor to provide additional works. Licensor shall deliver any such additional requested works to licensee within 30 days of written notice. This term gives the licensee the right to, essentially, use you as a contract employee with no compensation except the amount you get for royalty or flat rate in consideration of the licensed works. They can demand that you produce unlimited artwork for them as long as the agreement lasts, without compensation for your hard work except a very small license fee. Next, licensee will have sole discretion and responsibility for ensuring the quality of the licensed goods produced. This term allows the licensee to have complete authority over the quality of the product your work is being placed on. It could be crappy products and you have no right of approval or to supervise any quality control. Next, licensor shall have no rights to use the licensed materials or to grant to any third party the right to use the licensed materials in any way whatsoever. This term takes away your right to use the artwork or to grant licenses to other parties. Next, licensor hereby agrees to indemnify licensee and its affiliates from and against any and all liabilities, damages, claims, causes of action, suits, and proceedings asserted against licensee arising out of the creation and use of the licensed materials by licensee. Now, while it is generally boilerplate language to have you, the artist, indemnify the licensee against any claims brought if your work infringes another's intellectual property, the licensee needs to indemnify you against any claims of product liability. For example, if a mug explodes in the microwave, I can pretty much guarantee it's not due to your artwork, and you want to be indemnified for any product defectiveness. So that's the end of my seminar, my quick seminar on licensing. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me via emily@copyrightcollaborative.com, and I'll try my best to answer your questions. Thanks so much for watching.